Finding Your Why. My name is Daniel J. Smith. I'm the host of Edmonton Real, a podcast that delivers unique guests and unique conversations and some powerful thoughts in helping people find their why. What makes people happy and discover new, fresh ideas that might inspire you to take action in your own life. This Edmonton Real podcast may be the platform that helps you change or give you that spark you need to make a change. Let's all grow together. This is Edmonton Real. This is Edmonton Real. I'm your host, Daniel J. Smith. My guest today is Collin Joseph Mayne. Thank you for coming there, brother.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So, Collin, I'm going to go through a few things, okay?
Yeah, shoot.
Internet famous with over 700,000 Instagram followers.
Something like that. That's what they say.
An influencer and host of his own podcast. Fitness trainer, fitness model, high performance coach, public speaker, and just crushing it in all areas of life. Collin, my brother, welcome to Edmonton Real.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I want to start the way I always start. And the first question I always ask my guests is, the starting question is, who is Collin Joseph Mayne? Where were you born? What was your childhood like? What led you down the path you went down in life? I'm always fascinated where people came from and how they got to where they are today.
Yeah. So I grew up in Collin. It's like 3 hours north from here. It's a small town. Dad was in the military. He was in the Canadian Special Forces. He was separated from my mom. My mom raised me and my brother, like single mom. She created her own business. She opened up like a tanning spa. She had it for like 20 years. It was super successful, but I got to grow up watching her like grow and scale this, like from like one tanning bed to 2, and then to 5, then 10, and like facials, and like she scaled it really high and really quick, and it was very successful. So I always remember watching her like work her ass off.
So that's probably where it came from for you.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like I didn't like understand what I was seeing. I just knew she worked hard, and like when I got older and I like started like my own businesses and stuff, it was kind of like, all right, well, my mom did this and she was a single mom, and like
you probably respected her a little bit more as you got older and you saw it all, and now you're going through it yourself.
Yeah. So it's always funny because and then when I turned 18, I went into the oil field. I started welding, and then I did that for like 6.5 years. I had my own company. I was subcontracting and stuff. I had my own truck, and then ultimately met a girl. Decided to chase her across the country. So sold my rig. Like got rid of my company, packed up all my stuff in my truck, drove from Edmonton to Ontario, Canada to be with this girl, and then didn't put away any money, didn't have any money saved away or anything like that. Kind of a spur of the moment kind of guy. So got to Ontario, had like $1,100 in my bank account. I think I spent like $800 on gas to get there. And then I showed up like $300. I was like, all right, well, I need to figure out how to like make this. And at the time, I was utilizing social media. Because I saw that there was a market there to leverage that to do online training. It was something that I was always passionate about. What age
were you around that time?
I was 24.
24?
25, I think. Yeah, okay. 25 at the time when I left. But yeah, like I had fought in MMA, and I was helping guys with like strength and conditioning and stuff like that, different fighters and boxers. And then I was kind of always interested, but at the same time, like they don't have any money. Like MMA fighters don't have money.
Yeah, unless you're big time.
Yeah, even if you're in the UFC, they still don't make as much money as people think.
It's true.
So, and then it was something I was passionate about, and I saw that there was a market to leverage social media for that. So got to Ontario. The girl that I was seeing was actually already like doing online personal training and stuff like that. So she kind of like taught me the ins and outs type thing. Mm-hmm. She had her own studio and whatnot. So I was doing like personals, like one-on-ones, and then ultimately I was tired of trading time for dollars. So then I went online, and I fully boosted and kind of learned how to market and grow and scale my social media and like utilize that. Did really well. I was growing like 100,000 followers a month, and then the algorithm changed and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how I started my first company, which was my online personal training company. Then basically took what I learned from that to create a marketing company, and then I just utilized all the skills that I learned along the ways to help me with different businesses.
That's probably one of the questions that you get the most is how were you able to obtain 700,000 followers on Instagram? So can you dig a little bit deeper for people that maybe are looking to, and even myself, right? Like I look at a guy like you and I see these, but was it timing? you hit the right time, or was it?
No, it wasn't timing. I was way off the boat. Like I always, it's one of my like big regrets that I didn't get on social media. I was like anti-Facebook, anti-Instagram.
You were one of those guys.
Oh
huh?
yeah, until like
you
I
were
was
a
like
ghost.
24, and then and I was like, fuck, like I should have been on here. Like I probably missed the boat by about 5 years on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like I could have had 5 years of that organic growth.
Yeah.
Because then they changed the algorithm and everything, slowed everything down. But yeah, that's something I do regret, is that I was like anti-social media for the longest time. So I guess I kind of got lucky and I was able to grow and scale my social media fast. Basically, the easiest thing, like there's no like right way.
Yeah.
The only answer I can give you is to just add value and be yourself. People are either going to relate to you and they're going to want to do business with you or follow you because you're real and open and honest and authentic. And as long as you're adding value. So.
And I would say content, because you post a lot. Because a lot of people, they're like, but if you're posting a couple times a day and you have good values and good content, you're going to get followers. And I think a lot of times people they're not consistent, where you're very, very consistent. Because I follow you, I've done my research for today, and I would just say that you're very, very consistent. So when you hit it hard.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I won't post something if I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just going to post shit for the sake of posting shit.
Yeah.
Like, but I usually try to post like one time a day.
Yeah.
So whether that be business advice or relationship or personal or spiritual, emotional, whatever it may be, something that could potentially resonate with my followers. So, and I think that's why a lot of my followers have chose to do business with me or support me or whatever it may be.
Because you're following and your influence.
Yeah, people do business with people that they like, and people will follow the people that they can relate to and that are open and authentic.
So in regards to your Instagram following, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. When did you start noticing a big change in your life where companies and people started reaching out to you, maybe because your influence started growing, or maybe all of a sudden financially it started having a benefactor? Was it 100,000 followers? Was it 200? Was it,
There was like, it started around like 100,000 followers, I would say, but then the more it grows, the more like opportunity and more like monetary gains that you can have, and the more contracts come in and stuff as you grow. But I would say like around 100,000, that's kind of like where you start having some like influence and marketability, I suppose, to your audience.
So are you getting like 20 to 30 DMs a day for just random things?
Not so much, just because I think most people could like look at my page and they're like, okay, he already has an apparel sponsor, he already has a supplement sponsor, he does this. So like, I usually don't get approached, but sometimes there'll be gaps, like a couple of years ago and stuff, where I just was tired of posting stuff, like, or I just hadn't come across a brand that I like the clothing I'm wearing is Father Sons. I really like wearing them. It fits well. It just works with me. So it would be foolish not to align with them and promote them. So, but there'd be times where I didn't have brands that maybe I just hadn't seen anyone that I related with or I wanted to partner up with. So yeah, and then I would get approached more by companies because they see that like, all right, this guy's not posting, like if you're an apparel company, like, all right, he's not posting an apparel company. Or if you're a supplement company, I'm not posting a supplement company or something. They're like, all right, maybe this guy's like a free agent or whatever you want to call it.
Do you take care of your own Instagram, or do you hire that out to a team, or is it just you?
No, I do everything myself. I answer all my comments. Like every time I make a post, I set aside 1 to 2 hours after my post.
I've noticed that. You're engaging. Yeah. You're engaging. Like Gary Vee always talks about being engaging with your audience, right? And I noticed that you're really good at that, right?
Yeah, and that was something, like, it was always funny because, like, as soon as I started my Instagram, that was something I always did. I was like, I know that if I talk to people and I engage with people, people will either want to do business with me or they'll support me or whatever it may be. And then the Gary Vee started coming out, the Andy Frisellas, Ed Milet's, and they were always
I know all great guys.
Yeah, amazing guys. And they all promote, like, they were all saying to do exactly what I was doing. So I'm like, all right, I'm on the right track. And I think that's ultimately why I was able to grow and scale my social media to a bigger following.
Awesome. I love it, man. Like, I know people are going to eat this up. I wasn't going to do this, but when I did a deep kind of little research on you, I noticed that we have a lot in common. So I wasn't going to do this, and I probably might not ever do this with a guest ever again, but I'm going to go through a few things.
Yeah,
okay?
Give her.
So I watched some footage on you to prepare for today, and I noticed some things that we have in common. So like I said, I'm going to go through them now. We both come from small towns in Canada, under 5,000 people.
Where are you from?
Nova Scotia.
Whereabouts?
Digby, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
The Valley. Have you ever been back to Nova Scotia?
Oh, yeah, I've been to like Halifax.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been up there quite a bit.
It's about 2 hours away from Halifax.
Oh, I love it up in the East Coast.
It's so beautiful. Just not a lot of money. Just like I've been in Alberta now for 15 years, so I'm kind of an Alberta boy, but
Yeah.
I'm still from Nova Scotia. I'm still a Maritimer, but I've accustomed to the life out here.
Yeah.
Things move a lot slower back home.
It's nice though.
It is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to visit, but for our business, I don't think it's Halifax is good.
The
Halifax is good.
opportunities aren't there.
Yeah, and Nova Scotia's a lot like BC. You get the small town feel, right? We're both in our 30s. We both started playing hockey at a young age. We both cheer for the Edmonton Oilers NHL hockey team.
Yeah.
We were both into fighting. I was a big scrapper back in the day. We both have broken our nose a few times.
Yeah.
We both have done fitness training. I used to be a personal trainer before I got into real estate. We both need pre-workout before our workouts. Our parents split up when we were super young. I was 3 years old. I believe you were 5.
Yeah, that's good. You did your research.
Yeah, I see it. We both only have one full-blood sibling, an older brother.
That's what I got.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. How old's your older brother?
He is, wait a second, I'm 34, 37. 37.
So he's what, 3 years older than
3
you?
years older.
Oh, yeah, mine's 2 years older.
Yeah.
Than that.
And we both fought like cats and dogs growing up against our brothers.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, like rock'em sock'em robots. My mom, like, we put her through hell. Right? And I know you and your brother are the same way.
Yeah, it was weird because we like hated each other until he like moved out.
Yeah.
It was like when he was 18, he moved out, he went to college. And then I think it was just because we were always stuck together.
Yeah.
So, but then once he left, like we became like best friends.
Same with me and
Yeah.
him. So we used to fight like cat and dogs. My mom actually sent my brother to go live with my dad. That's how bad it was. She couldn't take us anywhere. And then, as in our adult lives, we become very close. I lived with him in Fort McMurray before I moved to Edmonton. So very, very close. So it's fun. Like I'm like reading all this stuff about him. I'm like, holy smokes. There's a little bit more, and then I'll move on. But we have both done coaching. We both have a podcast. We both stay up super, super late working till about 5 a.m.
Yeah.
We both played badminton growing up.
I fucking love badminton.
And I'm like, who plays badminton? And I'm reading that. I'm like, fuck, I played badminton. We both don't have cable.
Oh yeah,
I don't even have a TV.
I only ever had a TV because I lived with my brother. My brother had the TV.
There you go. There you go.
I don't need a TV. I just use my computer.
Same way. My brother had a TV.
Yeah.
I didn't have a TV. And I still don't have a TV. I call it the death box.
Oh, just such a waste of fucking time.
We both planned on going into the military, but didn't get in because of RCMP police charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That's what I said. Like I'm reading this. I'm like, man, there's a lot here. So yeah, man, after a little research, I noticed that we have a little bit in common.
You did your research, did good.
All that's true, right?
Oh yeah, it was all spot on.
All spot on. And like I said, there's probably no one else that will sit there. I'm like, I have a long list of things in common, so I thought that was pretty funny. So I wanted to talk about what we're doing today in podcasting. What kind of got you on your journey of podcasting, or what was like, you know what, hey, I want to start a podcast? Because I know that you're kind of starting one and have been, probably wanting to do it for a while, like myself, while we're here. So kind of how did that kind of journey happen for you?
I had done a bunch actually. So like we had shot, I think we got about 9 episodes now that we've done, 8 or 9 maybe.
Yeah.
But before, like ultimately I wanted to do it because I'd been a guest on a bunch of other podcasts and stuff like that. Mike Ritland, he's a friend of mine. He's a retired Navy SEAL. He trains like working dogs and stuff. Did his podcast. It's a great experience. Did a bunch of other high-level people's podcasts and stuff. And then I was like, oh, like there's a ton of value that you can share via podcast. So it was basically just to share more value and add more.
I love it. I love it. And one thing I've noticed is, you're probably a student of personal development, have been for many years. You work on yourself, leveling up. And from personal experience, and I'll speak to the audience too, is when you read a book or when you listen to a podcast or when you watch YouTube videos, it definitely makes you level up to the next level. But when you do it live and you do your own podcast, it's like 10x. It's like 10x in Grant Cardone. For me, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I think that you just grow so much because, there's a lot of noise out there. But right now, and I talked about this on the last podcast, is I'm actually very comfortable, and I'm focused on you, and I'm not caring about any other outside noise. And in today's world, you find that all the time. There's so much noise, but today, this like 1 hour, hour and a half, or whatever I'm with you, I'm just focused on you, and I not have any other cares. When if I was kind of just sitting at my office, there's all these, Instagram messages, there's this, that, there's a lot of noise, right?
Yeah.
So this way, I'm present. And that being said, like I said, doing the podcast I found has actually leveled up a few levels opposed for me actually just listening to a podcast at home. It takes it a couple levels up.
I think it's because it forces you to be consciously aware on the content and the value you're adding.
Yep.
So you become more focused on certain, whatever traits or topics you want to talk about and stuff, and then you can think about it to like pertain to your life. That's what I would assume it would be. And that's like when I wake up in the morning, I don't like go on my phone or anything like that for the first hour. I just like drink my tea and
you time.
Yeah, because like I don't want to open my eyes and then go from perfectly like REM sleep, like arrested period, to opening my eyes and then getting blasted with emails and text messages, and because I know they're going to be there, like with business clients and stuff like that, or like an influx of DMs or whatever it may be. So I usually kind of like wake up and I take the time to reflect on how I can be better throughout the day and become consciously aware. And I'll journal, or I'll write my tasks down that I have to get done for the day, or I'll just look at my calendar and see what's been happening. Like an assistant added something to my calendar maybe over the night or whatever. But yeah, like I think it's important to have that quiet time in order to, whatever it may be. I take my dog out, I walk with my dog, and I'll just keep my phone away, and like that's like my time to focus on.
And we both have had shepherds.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got a Dutch Shepherd and a Belgian Mal. But yeah, great dogs. And that's my time. And I think it's important to have those moments of quietness so you can like.
Because as soon as you turn it on, the floodgates open.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And like whether you know it or not, like a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm so busy today. It's like, well, are you actually busy, or are you productive?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a difference between being productive and being busy.
And for me, I'm the same way. A lot of mornings, I will not touch the phone. I'll grab my iPad, and I'll just go into meditation for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah.
And then if you're in a calm mind frame, if something does happen out of the ordinary that's maybe a little bit tough to deal with, you're already in a calm state, so you can deal with it a little bit better.
Yeah, deal
right?
with a better emotional state.
Exactly. And then I go through my affirmations. So I'm the same way, I kind of give that time because I know, as soon as I kind of turn it on. And I mean, I don't even have any close to the following you do, so you can imagine it's like times 10 with you.
Yeah. Well, I know as soon as I open my phone, I'm going to open the floodgates and answer DMs and emails and
everything.
Yeah, text messages and
the day started. So this is a great question, and I mean, I probably could flip it on myself as well. Being a busy guy, a businessman, an entrepreneur, how do you do all that you do and allocate your time for your businesses so that you're not running around with 100 things and not getting anything done like some people out there? So what works best for Collin?
The biggest thing is having a team that you can trust and being mature enough to give them tasks. And you hear that from a lot of people. Yep. Like the hardest thing to do is to trust people to do tasks that you should be doing.
It's so true.
So to delegate your time, and it did take me a while when I first started my company. So I was like bringing people on. I would hire people on, and then I would just do all their work for them.
Yep.
And then I would pay them, and I'm like, well, what am I paying these people for? Yep. So it takes time, and it is something that's difficult.
Because you always want to be like, nobody can do it as good as me.
Yeah, and it's your baby, so it's like your company. Yeah. So it is hard to, but the biggest thing is hiring people to work with that you trust and they're competent and they're loyal. So
Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, I went and watched him, and the big thing I took away is exactly what you just said. And he said, when I delegated other things to other people, my business just exploded. The bell curve happened because I'm really good at a few things, but there are tons of other people that are specialists and can do things a lot better. But once you let that go, that's when you really, you hit the nail on the head.
100%.
And that's when you see the growth.
Oh, that's even like working with Bryce and Lucas and them.
Hey boys.
Yeah, they're behind the cameras right now. Like I can't do the stuff.
No, that's not.
Wizards, so
yeah, they're amazing. That's the say we're smart, right?
Yeah,
we just hire them.
Yeah. The biggest thing is to me, the number one important thing is all my businesses. I have my friends that work with me. and people that I trust. Like that's the number one thing to me, and I know that they have the skill set to add value to the team. So, yeah,
I love it.
I think if you hire the people that you trust and you believe in, it makes it easier to delegate that work to.
Yeah, no, it's true. If that team's strong and you have a good relationship,
Yeah.
and then you know you can be like, okay, you know what, they've got me.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And then you give some feedback back and forth anyways. So it's kind of a collaboration
Yeah.
anyways. Tell me a little bit about your Fortitude 100 program.
So it's a high performance business coaching program.
Okay.
With myself, Bryce, and Franco Mayne.
Yeah.
Bryce Keller. And we basically teach people for 100 days. It's a 100-day program.
Okay.
How to create the proper foundation and how to either grow and scale an online company or a brick and mortar company.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we hold them accountable when they have a series of tasks and they follow our software program that implements step by step on how to grow and scale.
So it's all online.
Company. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's business coaching calls, 2 a week with all of us, and a closed VIP group community. So everybody, and that's my favorite part of it actually, because everybody gets to kind of network amongst each other.
Yeah.
Very similar to like the Rete Syndicate with Ed Milet and Andy Frizella. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of the people in their group, and it's like you can network and do a lot of business inside that program. So that's what's super cool too.
Awesome. And that's kind of in North America, or is it kind of global?
It's worldwide, yeah. So
worldwide.
we've had clients in like Australia, Europe, Scotland,
Awesome.
The States, Canada. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. That's quite a good reach though.
Yeah.
What would be your absolute passion? What is like Collin passionate about? What is your one thing that you kind of is maybe up here and the other things might be down here? Is it podcasting? Is it fitness? Is it you know, you mentioned you talk about relationships on your Instagram following. Is it your, you know, are you big? I know you got dogs. You know, is it you know, animal lover? What's your kind of what?
I wouldn't say I have like one specific passion. I don't think anybody does have one specific passion. Everybody has micro passions that give them fulfillment. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Like I love animals. I love working with animals, but I would never just want to solely just work with animals, because I have many other things. I like helping people. I like adding value. I love communication, relationships. So getting to do something where I can hit a majority of the things that bring me fulfillment, that's a passion of mine.
And as we go in life, also new doors open up.
Yeah.
Like me and you doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Like 5 years ago, I wasn't even in this.
Well, you probably didn't even know what a podcast was 5 years ago.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Until, you know, you see Joe Rogan in his dungeon basement doing them, right? So yeah, no, that's a great answer. I agree with you. Like, I mean, I try to think about that myself, but I'm like you. I've got a few things that I'm passionate about, and then maybe one day I'm not as passionate about this, but I'm passionate about something else.
Yeah, I believe it's honestly life's just doing things that bring you fulfillment and bring you joy. And I don't think there's always one thing it's the same as with relationships. You may love a person when you start that relationship with them, and as they grow and progress, you may fall out of love with them, or maybe they go down a different journey, different like path, and it doesn't align with yours. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just life. 100%.
For spare time, if you do get spare time, what do you do? Do you go for a walk with the dogs? Do you kind of relax? Do you know, if it's summertime, would you go to the beach? Like, do you have any kind of, I don't even know if you have any spare time.
No, I do. I make time to do the things that I like and spend time with like my friends and family and stuff. I always make time to walk my dog because I have to. Otherwise, she just drives me nuts, and I have to. So
just the one dog, right?
Yeah, I just got the one dog,
but
she's like super high drive working dog. So I'm usually out with her for like an hour or two a day. But actually, fuck more than that. Probably like 2 or 4 hours.
Wow.
A day.
How old is it? A girl?
Yeah, it's a girl. She's 3 or 3.5.
Oh, she's like in her
prime.
Ton of energy. Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, but that is something that I enjoy. So like, that's the fun part of my day. I don't mind that. Just spending time. I'll do anything. I'll go travel. I'll go fly out to see my friends, and I got friends all over the world. It's just via social media. I've made friends in the States, and
you do a lot of traveling. I've watched you. You do a lot of traveling, because didn't you drive from Miami all the way back here?
Yeah. Well, I drove to Dallas, Texas, and I was in Texas, which is like 3,600 kilometers. I was there for a month and a half. Then I drove back, and then I was here for like 3 weeks. Then I drove to Florida, which is 4,700 kilometers.
Wow.
I was there, and then I drove to Virginia Beach to see one of my buddies. He's a SEAL team operator up there. I spent like Thanksgiving with them, and then I drove back here. So I'm always traveling.
You love traveling.
I do. Like I'm good for a little bit. I got to go to Miami again in like 6 weeks, and like but staying still for like 6 weeks will be good for me.
Does that come from your hockey days? Because I know for me, like I used to, I was a competitive hockey player, AAA, played a little junior, and we used to be gone all the time. Every weekend, gone, right? Like I go trips down to Boston. And so for me, I also do real estate. I travel a lot. I love traveling. Like I can go to BC and drive to Vancouver and just away I go. And I noticed that you do the same thing. Do you think that comes from your hockey days?
I don't think it came from hockey, no, because like we did a lot of traveling. And I was playing football at the same time, so we would like travel like in the bus, and the whole team was there, and it was fun in that sense. But I honestly think it was when I was 18. I think it was like maybe just after I turned 18. I went on a trip and I like booked an all-inclusive with my girlfriend. We went to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, or maybe it was Puerto Plata. I don't know. We went to Dominican Republic, but I was like 18 and I was like, this is so cool. Like you get to see different cultures and experiences, and I was walking through the towns and stuff like that. And I just enjoyed getting to see different cultures. Even in the States, it's completely different culture than Canada.
It is so much. Where's your one place that you absolutely love and you'd go back to like maybe five times a year?
I've been all over the world, and I always say this, like I've been to Central America, Europe, like everywhere. But my favorite place is Virginia Beach in the States. 'Cause that's where my best friend is. And whenever I'm there, it's not the places that I'm at, it's the people I'm with.
Yeah.
And I can have fun anywhere. As long as I'm with good people. And nothing special about Virginia Beach. It's just my buddies there, and we just have a good time.
And good weather.
It's not even that great of weather. Like we were there, and it was nicer. It was like 0 degrees, but it's still like it's not beautiful weather. But that was like now this time of the year in December. But in the summer, it's nice.
And you grow so much when you see the other cultures too.
Like
I mean, I went to Jamaica probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and with my ex, we went pedal biking in the rainforest.
Oh.
And we were in the rainforest, and I remember, I had these, chains on, and I was in a muscle shirt, and I look up, and there's literally this guy that's in like a steel little hut in the trees, like a 2x4 hut, and he's got a great big beard, and I'm like culture shocked, right? And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and we just like locked eyes for like a minute, and I'm just like they don't know any of this world. They don't know any podcasts, any internet, Instagram. They don't know any of that, right? So that was crazy. And then all of a sudden, we go do that, and then we're on the bus, and I literally see, the ladies with the bunch of bananas on their head and the water in their head, and like they're just going to get food. And I'm just like, wow, right? And then people don't realize how lucky we are in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
I was literally talking to a friend about this last night because, so I went to Central America, and I did a volunteer trip. I was working at a wildlife rehabilitation center. And I was there for like 5 weeks, and I volunteered for 4 weeks, and then I kind of backpacked for a week. I went from like Panama through Costa Rica and up to Nicaragua, and then flew home. But I went and I was just hitchhiking around, and I hitchhiked, and I found this waterfall, and I met these two locals, and they were awesome. They were actually shocked that I found the waterfall. They were like, "Oh, how'd you find this place?" But I had a friend that told me about it, so that's how I found it. And I ended up just like, they spoke English because they worked with I think they worked with like American volunteers or something like that. So they spoke like fairly good English. So we hung out like all day. They were doing like, they had ropes and shit, and they were jumping off this tree into the waterfall and stuff.
Awesome.
It was cool. And then I ended up just hitting it off with them. And I went back to like their village, and like they had like a restaurant that had like, it was like a grocery store restaurant, like bar thing. And there was only like maybe like 100 people in this village. And they're like, yeah. So we ended up drinking, and I was just buying them drinks. It was like $1 a drink or something like that. So I ended up getting drunk with these two guys, and they're like, yeah, just stay at our place. So I like slept on like their hut on like the floor. It was a good time. But then in the morning I woke up, and I was like, I'm like, hey, where can we go to get breakfast? I'm like, I'm starving. And there was like a translation gap, and they're like, oh, they're like him, and they pointed to this kid that had like an imploded stomach. And I was like, oh, I'm like, no, not like him. Like, and that just dawned on me that like how good we have it. And I was like, it was a good learning lesson, different cultural thing. So I ended up actually taking like that family with that kid and them out for breakfast and stuff like that. But
awesome, man. Good for you.
It was I just remember being like, and to this day I'll never ever use the term like I'm starving whenever I'm hungry.
Yeah. No, you learn a lot about yourself and the world when you go on these trips and you go travel the world, and you seem very well traveled. So same for me, some places I go and then I come back home and I'm just like, man, we're lucky. We are lucky.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like I'll have bad days, and like, but at the end of the day, I'm working from my computer for the most part of the day. Like, I got food, like I got
You got
dog
all your
food.
limbs.
Yeah, I got all my limbs. I can feed my dog, and I got food in my fridge. Everything's good for me.
Good
I'm
to
like
go.
a very minimalistic person.
Awesome. What scares Collin? Does anything scare Collin?
Lots of things scare me. I don't know. My biggest regret, and this is kind of how I've always lived my life, is like I never want to wonder what if when I'm older.
Yep.
So I've chased women to different countries for relationships, and I've chased business opportunities. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars more times than not, I either learn a very valuable lesson that aids me in life, or it works out for me.
No regrets.
So
just
yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like I've never ever really had that fear of like hesitation. Like if I want something and it makes sense to me, I'll go after it.
I love it.
And whether I fail at it or I learn something, that's the most important thing.
Taking action is very, very important. And the thing is, you know, sometimes people ask me, Dan, so how do I become more successful? And I'm like, fail more.
Yeah, 100%.
Fail more. And they're like, what? Because you learn so much from your failures. And it actually, by failing, you learn so much, and that actually levels you up.
Yeah.
And people are just so scared.
People are afraid to fail, or they're afraid to take action. And at the end of the day, and it all comes down to like my biggest regret is if I'm 60 and I wonder, what if I did this, or what if I did that, or what if I did that? Like at least if I do it and I fail, or I do it and it works out, it's awesome, that's cool. If I do it and I fail, at least then I know that I'm not gonna have that what if. And
exactly.
That's my biggest probably scare.
Yeah. And if you're, 85, 90, you look back and you don't have to be like, oh man, I wish I would have done that. I wish I wanted to do this.
Yeah, and like, especially if you're 20, 30, 40, like you can fail all you fucking want. You still got half your life to live.
There's a lot of people that didn't kind of really get started until their 40s or 50s. You see it all the time. Yeah.
And like even Gary Vee talks about like fail as many times as you possibly can in your 20s.
Exactly.
Like, and I agree 100% with that. Like, I failed a million times.
Yeah.
I'm still failing all the time.
Me too.
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, they're like, and a lot of the times, like, if you go after something that doesn't work out the way you wanted, an opportunity presents itself in a different manner. And like, that's how I've started different businesses. Was totally out of my realm, and I never saw it coming. But because I chose a path to go after, and it didn't work out, something else.
Me too.
An opportunity.
100%.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, swing the bat.
Yeah.
You swing the bat 100 times. Maybe you only hit it 10.
Yeah.
But you're still swinging because a lot of people out there aren't swinging the bat.
No, and it's unfortunate.
Well, that's the whole point of this podcast, is so that me and you can sit here and have a conversation, and we hit that one person that's maybe working a 9 to 5 and always wanted to take action and do something, but maybe me and you are the fire, the motivation for them to do it, because that's what happened to me, other people that I've watched, and same as you, right? So that's the whole concept behind the podcast, is to have unique conversations and unique guests to maybe light that fire for someone out there to get off their ass and to do something they always wanted to do. That's the whole basis behind this.
Yeah, people just need to fucking take action and go out after whatever makes you happy. If you think there's an opportunity for something to make you happy or bring you fulfillment or joy, or it's your passion or whatever it may be, fucking go after it.
Love it, man. I love it. So now I'm going to do 5 questions.
All right.
Okay? You can answer them any way you like. I know we've already gone through a lot of questions.
No, I like it.
But these ones I came up with. The last one, I know the boys got a good chuckle out of it, but I think it's a great question. My girlfriend hates it. But so, number 1, 5 questions with Collin Joseph Mayne. If there was one piece of life advice you could give your 20-year-old self, what would it be?
Oh, fuck, there'd be a lot of advice.
It's like, damn, we don't have enough time for this podcast.
One piece to give my 20-year-old self?
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. I was super negative. I was working in the oil field.
Wow, you would never see.
Oh, I was super negative until I was like 25, and I met a girl named Julie who I always talk very highly of. She's just like the nicest human being ever. She really she's very intelligent. She basically changed my whole mindset, like just dating her. I was only dating her for like 6 months. We split up very amicably. She went one way, I went another way. But in that time, she basically she would be like, I would be upset about something. I get mad about something. She'd be like, why are you upset about this? And she'd always ask all these questions, and it started changing. Why am I upset?
Your perception,
upset about this? Yeah. And the biggest thing would be just personal development and just be more consciously aware.
No, that's great, because so much. It's not what happens, how we react.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Life is 90% how you react to things and 10% of the things that you have to react to.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to
Yeah.
say that. Number 2, who is the most famous person you have ever met in your life?
Famous person? I've met some famous people.
Who's up there?
I met The Rock. I met Arnold
There you go.
Schwarzenegger.
I met Arnold as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. So The Rock, that'd be cool. Did you have any time with The Rock? Did you have a few minutes, or was it
No,
just
he
kind
was
of
at the Olympia, and he like came by, and he was just like making super quick rounds around all
Yeah.
the booths. So it's the exact same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I cried when I met Arnold. I'll admit it. I cried.
He was cool. He was because every Arnold Classic Fitness
Yeah.
Expo, he's always there, obviously because it's his. But he goes like booth to booth to booth, and he takes pictures with everybody. And I only got to meet him for like 5 seconds.
I had 20
but-
seconds with him.
Yeah, and like, which is fair, but I'm not like super starstruck about people. I'd be
No.
more starstruck about somebody that I like.
Followed, and then you finally met them. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I see him and I'm like, well, like that's awesome, the amazing things he did. I'm like, but that's not the path I want to go down. I don't
Yeah.
want to be a governor and
Yeah.
like a movie star and stuff like that. So I can appreciate it, but yeah, I guess those two. Would
It was
be the
it was the 50th anniversary, Mr. Olympia, and there was talk that Arnold was going to be there. It's the 50th anniversary,
Yeah.
so we were at the expo, right? Me and my ex, and I was running around the expo, being like, "Where's Arnold going to be? Where's Arnold going to be? Where Arnold?"
Well, you'll know where he is because he rolls in with like
well,
20 security guards.
Some big guys like, "Man, I've been watching you, and you're hilarious." He's like, most people think he's going to be at his muscle farm because that's his product
Yeah.
line, but he's not. Because we want to bring him to the back door. He's going to be over here. And I'm like, dude. He's like, no, trust me. I'm like, okay. So C.T. Fletcher was at a booth.
Yeah.
You know, the big black
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
And great, following online. And anyway, so I was in the line, and the guy promised me he was going to be there. So I kept letting all these people go past me. And they're like, why are you letting him? I'm like, Arnold's going to be here. So then all of a sudden, I said that. There's like the Fletcher line and then the Arnold line for thousands. And I'm like, uh-oh. And then it was like, I think maybe 45 minutes, an hour before the Olympia. Chopper comes down. He walks in with like 15 Secret Service guys.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, I see him kind of in the corner of my eye. And he comes in and he takes a few pictures with all the, the people that are there at the booth and this and that. And he looks at the line. He's like, I've got time for 3. And I'm number 1. And there's a lineup of like 3,000 or 4,000 people. And I go up and I like put my arm around him like we're best friends, get my picture, and like literally I like started crying like a baby after. But it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Like people were like climbing rafters or trying to do.
Oh yeah, he gets just swarmed. Same with like The Rock.
Yeah,
when he was there.
yeah.
But no, they're cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm not like somebody that gets super starstruck though.
No,
not really.
I when I met him, I was kind of like, yeah, that's The Rock would be cool too, though.
Yeah, he's a fucking big dude.
Oh man, I can imagine. What is one thing that not a lot of people know about you?
I don't know. I've pretty much said everything on
You got
Like, I don't think there's really anything that I haven't discussed on my social media.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't even know. I don't think there's anything
There's
that you
nothing.
couldn't figure out on my social media.
Yeah.
I
Maybe back in the day, like I was born with broken legs. A lot of people don't know that, but like maybe something back when you were young.
A lot of people don't know that. Like, I fractured my skull when I was like 5, and I got a learning disability until I was like 11, until like grade 6 or 7. I couldn't read or write. Like I had to wear a.
What age were you?
It happened to me when I was 5.
Okay.
And then I had to wear a bicycle helmet because they removed like a chunk like this big out of my skull. That's
Like
why I have that
to
scar
school?
here.
You had to wear it to school?
Oh yeah, every day, 24/7.
No
So I was a
way.
kid that wore a bike helmet, like, which needless to say, I didn't have the most friends.
Yeah.
So I did that. That happened to me when I was 5. Then I had to wear the helmet till I was like 7.5. It was like 2 years or 2.5 years.
Oh man.
So like we have a good friend named Danielle who she's known me since I was like 5 years old. So
Yeah.
so she always like knows me as the kid that had the bike helmet.
Oh
And I still
man.
have some friends that remember that. But and then I had like a learning disability and like couldn't read or write until I was like probably like the 6th grade.
Wow,
Failed grade
man,
9. I had got held back in grade 9. Fucking hated school. But I've talked about that, but
Yeah.
it's something a lot of people probably don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I usually only ever talk about it on podcasts.
Yeah. Because this is the only kind of setting where you get deep questions, right?
Yeah, that, and it's like it's hard to type all that out. So
Yeah.
I've like briefly mentioned it and stuff.
Just have a picture of a bike helmet in your Instagram.
I have my mom has a picture of me, and like you would just
Man,
think,
that would suck
well, you
so
just
bad.
think I'm a kid that's just wearing a bike helmet. I'm like, no, I had to wear that like 24/7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good story. That's a good one.
Yeah, probably that.
What is the coolest, funniest, most unique, or best nickname anyone has ever given you, and what's the story behind it?
I don't have a cool nickname. I was literally talking to my friend about this because he's an MMA fighter, and I think his like nickname was like, the Dirty Hamster. He actually just fought on Friday night. He won too.
Where was he fighting?
I fought for Unified.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was funny because he posted like. It was like a poster or something like that, and it said like Merrick the Dirty Hamster Duggan, and somebody's like why would you have that nickname? And I was like, well, if anybody has a cool nickname like the Pitbull or something like that, they gave it to themselves. Like you can tell who got given their nickname and who gave themselves their nickname.
That's true.
So when I was in high school, everybody called me Seaman, because a friend of mine. He used to call me C-Man, for Collin, like C and then M-A-N. Yeah. And then it just quickly became Seaman. And then I was like, all right, well, I guess that's my nickname.
What ages were you?
I was like 13 to probably 21 people called me. Oh, yeah.
In high school.
Oh, yeah, all the time, yeah. It was just like playing hockey and football and stuff. It all started because he called me C-Man.
I can see hockey guys just eating that up.
Oh, yeah. It was like as soon as he said C-Man, like one guy was like Seaman, and then like it just spread
The
like
things
wildfire.
that happen behind the dressing rooms of hockey, it's crazy, right?
So that was probably the only nickname. That or Mayhem, because I used to cause a lot of trouble when I was in high
me
school.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I went with Mayne, so.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one. The last question, number 5. What would be your last meal if you were on death row? What are a few things that you'd want to eat if you were like, you know what, I'm done after this? Would it be give me maybe 4 or 5 things?
Was this question that Bryce is laughing about?
Yeah.
Probably because he already knows what he's saying.
Oh, does he know?
Oh, guaranteed. I would eat pizza, brownies, and chicken fingers.
That was quick. That was too quick. It's like you called him and told him what was going to be on here.
Oh yeah, as soon as you said it, I'm like, I bet you every one of my friends could answer that question for me. Pizza,
That's
brownies,
awesome,
and chicken
man.
fingers.
That's awesome. Well, Collin, Joseph, Mayne, thank you so much for coming on our Edmonton Real podcast. What I wanted to end with is, how would somebody get in contact with you? What would be the best way for someone to get in contact with you if someone wanted to contact you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's just Collin, Collin, and then Joseph, Joseph _ Mayne, Mayne. And then from there, my email address is on there and stuff. You can email me through there.
Awesome. Well, Collin, thanks for coming today again. This has been Edmonton Real. I'm your host, Daniel J. Smith. I'd like to thank Collin for coming on today. Stay tuned. We will have another podcast coming at you very shortly. This Edmonton Real podcast is brought to you by
Laptop Lifestyle Apparel, a clothing line for people that has or looking to obtain freedom in their lives so that you can do what you want with who you want whenever you want. Laptop Lifestyle Apparel. I'd also like to mention the producers of this Edmonton Real podcast, Keller Visuals. If you or someone you know would like to start a podcast or any media for your business, contact Keller Visuals.